Hey, what's up, MVPers? Yeah, it's been a little bit since I made a video, and I wanted to show you something that that I've mentioned to some people that I do when it comes to, you know, getting into Dynasty Mode or Owner Mode, you know, whatever one you choose here. So, first thing you want to do is obviously buy the rosters. I promise you, my pain and labor is worth it. But you know, once you have these, go ahead and load them up. You know, go into game mode, Dynasty, Owner Mode, either one, it doesn't matter. Just load up something. And you know, this could be for either one of whatever you do. So, no fantasy draft, we're just going to leave it normally. You know, I don't do a fantasy draft when I do mine. I know some of you do. What I actually do when I do mine, though, is I turn injuries off, suspensions off. What do I do? DH for both. I mentioned that in one of my other videos. Get some offense in the game. Trade deadline off. CPU trades off. Fair trades. I'll turn them off. I turn them off for now, and I'll show you why. Not as a means to cheat the game or whatever, because I don't need to be that guy winning every game. I want it fair. And if you want to see what I mean by that, go ahead and check out the video I did on sliders. It's up here in my videos. Hit subscribe if you haven't. Some of you have. Budget's on. Rainouts, I'll turn that off. Okay, so everything else here is the same. So what we do is we go ahead, head into Dynasty. Difficulty, that doesn't matter because I'm not playing with any of it. With any of the, I'm not going to be playing any of the games. So these rankings right here are based on what I have currently, and today's the December 22nd. So these team rankings here are based on how the rosters are shaping up right now. Let's go ahead and use Detroit. Right now they're the worst team in the game. I actually thought it would be Florida or Miami based on other trades, but apparently Detroit's pretty lousy, so just use them. So what my thing is when you go in and you play a season, if you've noticed, what you'll see is you'll see a lot of free agents in the pool after the season. And I'll go ahead and simulate through the season to show you this, but what I do when I start my dynasty is I'll trade players to my team from any team, and that's why I have fair trades off. But what I'll do is, the purpose of that will be is to signing them to longer term contracts and then trading them to their team. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'll simulate a season, and then I'll show you what I mean with the guys in the free agent pool after the season. And like I said, you guys have no doubt have seen this, but for me, you know, when I play 3-4 seasons at a time, and I don't need to be that guy that all of a sudden Madison Bumgarner's a free agent. Oh, I can sign him, right? No, that's not me. I like to keep things consistent, like to keep things equitable. I don't need to be that guy signing a super team to try to cheat the game and win, edit guys' ratings to 99 for everybody to try to go 162-0 and then sweep through the playoffs. Where's the fun in that, right? So anyway, let me sim the season real quick, show you what I mean, and then I'll show you what I'm talking about in terms of trades and everything like that. Alright guys, we're back here. Went ahead and simulated the season, got to the free agency period. I will say this though, I didn't sign any of my free agents. I just simulated right through the contract signing period, right to free agent signings. So here's what I'm talking about. Free agent list. And you see here, after a season, a lot of quality. Andrew Miller, Bellinger, Yachty, Cruz, Andrew Taylor, Puig, Matt Adams, Shelby Miller. Alright, so we're getting down to it here, obviously, but I mean, look at these guys. Buxton. Look at these, Bradley Zimmer. Look at these guys in the list here. And this is just in a given year, of course, but Devers, give me a break. And that's what I'm talking about. cheating the game, right? I'm totally against that, and I think that comes off in my videos, but you're sitting out there after a year of free agency. You can sign Xander Bogaerts. You can go grab Devers, Happ, Zimmer, Buxton, these starting Odorizzi, Helix, all these starting pitchers. Not Shelby Miller, forget him. Andrew Miller, he's your closer. Bellinger, all of a sudden, Yachty. You can make an all-star team just off of these guys in the free agency list. It's ridiculous. And you know, that's how the game is and all that. But for me, I don't like seeing that. I like like I said, when I play from season to season, 3 or 4, I'd rather see Andrew Miller still on the Indians. You know, I'd rather see these guys still with their teams and me playing against a strong level of competition every season, rather than me just go ahead and grabbing the top 4 or 5 guys here. Come on, Bellinger. You know, like I said, that's just me though. If you're a guy who likes to steal all the great free agents and stack this team of, you know, 5-star and 4-star players, and that's what it takes for you to win, then, you know, so be it. But for me, I like to keep it challenging. It's fine losing games. Trust me, guys, it will not be the end of the world if you lose a game. And if you don't win the World Series, the next season happens. So anyway, that's what I'm talking about. And this is the kind of stuff I want to avoid. So let me show you how I do that. Go ahead and get back out of here. I'm going to shut the, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. I'm going to show you some of the tools I use real quick though, and what you'll need possibly if you're going to do what I'm about to show you. So I don't know if this is showing too well. This is just a standard whiteboard you can write on. We've got some whiteboard dry erase markers. I realize those aren't coming in too good. And you're definitely going to need an eraser. So there, that's better. Alright, so let me cut this off and then I'll show you what I'm talking about. Alright guys, we're back at it here. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about here. Just going to load up these rosters again real quick and then go into Dynasty Mode. Like I said, make sure you have these tools with you. Whiteboard markers, and an eraser. Go to Dynasty Mode, New Dynasty. We'll leave all of this stuff the same because I'm not going to do any simulation here. We're just going to go right into it. So we'll just go in and grab any team. And a lot of you do this to some degree. Go to team management, like when you first pick your team, right? Go to payroll. And you see there's a lot of guys here. You can sort the contracts, but a lot of guys here are on 1-year deals, right? You'll deal with them in the off season. What I like to do is I'll try to deal with some of them now, if they were indeed a guy I knew I wanted to keep on my team long term. So let's just say I wanted to keep these minor leaguers, right? You go in here, their salary demands are still the same, $300K, right? So just go ahead and pop them on a 3-year deal, something like that. Does he want the same? Yeah, he wants the same. So, you know, those are just a couple guys there. But it takes some of the work out of the off-season stuff. And like I said, you do that for guys that you know you want to keep. But what I do is, and you can do this at any point before the end of the season. I will say this though, if you do it at any point during the season, the computer will, optimize the roster every time you're doing what I'm going to show you. So just bear with me on that. So for me, what I try to do is I just try to do it at the beginning of the season. But to do this for all 30 teams, trust me guys, it's a pain in the ass. So you really have to be dedicated to wanting fair gameplay over the course of 3 or 4 years of games that you'll be playing. So what I'll do first of all is I need to, and I want to just show you a tiny fraction of this, but I'll say each team takes about an hour to do. So what I want to do, what I need to do is I need to open up slots. Actually, I have to adjust something here, I'll show you, but so a lot of these scrub guys, I'll just cut them out, right? And I will say though, sometimes I'm lazy with this and I don't do it until the end of the season. That's enough though for now to show you. I mean, you guys will get the gist. So, go to team management, transactions, trade players. So, what you want to do is you want to look at guys that are on 1-year contracts. And your choice here, but for me, I go through all the levels: Major League, Triple, Double A, Single A, all the way down. Guys that actually are active guys in the, you know, not these scrub pitchers that we use, but guys that are in the organization. What we're doing is we're looking for guys, like I said, on 1-year contracts. So we go ahead, go through, well, it looks like Kinsner and Jackson are good, but Hurst is on a 2-year deal. And you can even take him as well, but you know, for sake of what I'm showing you here, let me just try to find another guy that's on a 1-year, or on the last year of his contract. Okay, so here we go. So we got Jackson, Kinsner, and Plummer, and we're going to go ahead and trade them Soriano. So what I'll do is I'll write them here. Sorry about the lighting on this one, but and the chicken scratch. Make sure to go ahead and make note of Soriano here. I'll put him off on the side. Because what you want to do is you want to make sure you're giving them back their players when you go ahead and do the deals. So zoom out there a little bit. Alright, so make the deal. You see you got all their guys. And those are lower level guys. So I'll show you. Let me show you the major leaguers real quick. You can go through, let's just start at the top. See, that's one thing you got to make sure of is you're within budgetary constraints. So sometimes what you can even do is if you look at somebody that's going to put you over budget, just go ahead and grab somebody that's kind of where it swaps it out. And again, the key is just making sure you make note of who you're trading. So in this case, when you're trying to trade at the major league level, guys' salaries are a lot higher, so you might have to try to trade a higher salaried player. But you can see here, Ozuna is the only one on the 1-year deal. So go ahead and take Martinez and Lynn out. Molina, Pham. Oh, so there we go. Worked out pretty good. So go ahead and make those notes on your whiteboard in whatever order you think is helpful to keep you on track with things. So, and this is how it would look, assuming they would accept the trade. You see the players are listed there that I got. These are the ones I'm sending away. Once again, though, I found it easier if you just start at the bottom, lower level, and work your way up. And then when you're creating roster spots, create a lot and try to create open spots in one level of your organization. So what I try to do is I'll cut guys and then I'll move everybody up to triple and double A, so that whenever I'm getting the acquired players, I can just find them in single A rather than having to go through my different levels of organization to try to find them. It speeds up the process, and again, that's just something that I've noticed over time, and you probably don't have a clue what I'm talking about right now. But anyway, let's make this trade real quick and then I'll show you what I am talking about. So now that you've got the guys, you go to your payroll. right? These first few guys, they're really lower level guys. So Plummer, you see here, he's on a $300,000 contract. Just up him to 3 years. You can even go a little longer with it, but let's find the other two. Okay, here you go. He's what's he at? 100,000. You can easily get him to sign a 3-year deal for 100K. If you want to go out even further, you can do something like 4 and 2, and they'll take that offer. Again, that's just up to you. Kind of play with things a little bit. Ah, there he is. Okay, kind of skipped over him. Again, he was the same. Let's go ahead and just give him a deal like that. And that's so you won't have to deal with him for several years down the road if he's on the last year of his deal. Alright, so you've signed them to longer term contracts. These guys that are high quality players, sometimes they're harder to deal with though. I'll show you what I mean. And young guys that are high star players, like 5 and 4 star guys, they're especially difficult. But Molina, he's at 1 and 2.5. Looks like he's good with taking the same. Give him a 3-year deal. Pham 1 and 2.4. He's good with the same. Ozuna 1 with 3.8. He's fine taking the same. So you could go ahead and give him a 3-year deal. Something else you can do if you're having difficulty, because sometimes they won't want to sign. They may want more money. So let me show you this real quick. This is another thing. You've got to make sure that you fix this when you go back though. So if you got a 4 or 5 star player, you can knock him down to a 1-star guy, or knock some of his attributes. You see he's at a 92 here. Just go ahead and put him at 0. The main thing here is just to make sure when you're signing the guys and sending them back to the computer or whatever team they are, that it's not putting them over budget. It's not to try to cheat the thing so you can get better players for yourself, of course, but see, okay, so here he is. He still wants that, but sometimes what I'll try to do is I'll see if I can get him to take a longer term deal, maybe with a little bit more money. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes you'll get them angry enough to where they won't want to deal with you at all, but anyway, we'll go with the original deal. I was just trying to see if we could get him to sign maybe like a 4 or a 5-year deal for about the same amount of money. And again, that creates a situation where you don't have to go get him again and try to do the same process over again in 3 or 4 years, which is cool. I mean, you want to do this as little as possible because it is pretty time consuming. And like I said, with the whiteboard you can make notes. Make sure if you're making ratings adjustments to try to sign him to a longer term deal, make sure you make those notes so you set him back to what he was. So that said, we've got the guys. Go ahead and trade them back. St. Louis is here. So the first thing we did was we traded Soriano. So let's go find him if they haven't cut him. Okay, so here he is. And then I try to always trade back for the same guys that I did the first time through. So Plummer, Kinsner, and Jackson. I think Plummer, okay, here he is. And this happens sometimes where they'll reject something. Usually what it'll be is if you have, like you're trying to trade a lot of position players for a pitcher, like we're trying to do in this case, or, you know, vice versa. So what we do is we could just go ahead and change it up a little bit. Take Plummer out of this deal for now. and then put, actually no, I'm going to keep Plummer in the deal. And so what I'll do in this case is I'll just go get one of these scrub players that has no use. Of course they're electing to be difficult with me now, right? Alright, it took 3 scrub players. So, anyway. They've still got my guy. So I want to get him back. See if we could throw one of those scrubs we just got. Oh, I guess they're really determined on keeping Soriano. Anyway, that happens sometimes. Don't worry about that though. You can always go in the free agent list and grab another scrub pitcher out of there. Alright, so let's grab the other guys. Molina was Pham, and then it was Ozuna. And we traded them for Cole Hamels. Again, it looks like another pitcher for batters deal, so we'll see if they go along with it. See if we can throw Soriano in there. Ah, well, it went through. So it ended up working out where we got everybody back. And they got all their guys back. So that's what I'm saying. The main thing, like I said, is you don't want to mess with their bank. That usually only has an impact in the first year or two. But again, it's just something, guys. I mean, it's a thing. I know this is a long video, so I'll wrap it up. But it's just something I do. I really like to avoid having to see those free agents in the off season. I like to keep teams how they are. I know I've said that. But hey, that's just how I do it. If you have any questions or you want to see like a little bit more of this, then go ahead and hit me up. Ask any questions. Hopefully this video was explanatory. Again, make sure fair trades are off. I always turn trade deadline off and CPU trades off. Computer trades off, that's another thing I wanted to touch on real quick. I always turn that off. I don't like in season having teams trade. I like to keep it realistic with what's going on in Major League Baseball. So if I'm playing during a busy period and trades are happening, say like Beltre got traded for a couple prospects, I would do the trade right there in the Dynasty and make it happen. All about legitimacy, all about keeping things authentic and consistent. So anyway, thanks for watching this video, guys. Take care and keep playing MVP, guys.